Hi, my name is Liz Corbett, and I'm known as the Party Hostess Diva. I have been decorating and designing cakes for over 25 years. You can find more information about me at www.partyhostessdiva.com. And I would love to show you right now how to make a golden layer vanilla cake. For our golden layer vanilla cake, we are going to put in 2 1/4 cups of cake flour, 1 1/2 cups of sugar, 3 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 cup of shortening, 1 cup of milk, 1 1/2 teaspoons of vanilla, and 2 eggs. Here's an important tip for prepping your baking pans. You want to be very generous with your Crisco or your vegetable shortening. Get in there really good with your pastry brush. The corners, the edges. This is part 1 of 2 steps that are going to be ensuring that your cakes will release from the pan and they won't have anything breaking. It'll come out nice and neat. Step 2 is you want to just shake a little bit of all-purpose flour onto the bottom, and you're going to gently tap the pan and turn it around. This moves the flour across the shortening and it adheres to the shortening. You want to go all the way up the sides, and your goal is to not have anything shiny in the pan. Then you're going to have a little bit of excess flour left, and gently tap that out. And your finished pan is going to have the vegetable shortening secure and the flour to it. When you put your batter on top of this, it will adhere to this mix, and when you tap the pan later to release the cake, it's going to come out nice and smooth. I can guarantee it. Now we're going to add the ingredients for our layer cake. And I want to give you a tip about your eggs. You want to make sure that you have them in a bowl ahead of time so that they're room temperature. And pre-mix them up a little bit first. This helps them incorporate into the batter. So I've added the 3 eggs to our mixing bowl, and I do prefer using a whisk for this cake, the whisk attachment. All right, next we're going to add our sugar, which I have pre-measured out, and our flour. This is an awesome recipe because you literally just dump everything in at once. And our baking powder. And salt always enhances the flavor in baked goods, especially sweet items. At this point, you can start mixing your ingredients together on low. And I'm going to add my milk, which also is great to have at room temperature, and the vanilla, which of course makes our yellow cake golden vanilla. It's very important when you're mixing, especially baked items, to stop along the way. This way you get a very smooth batter and everything is incorporated in well. And again, we're just going to mix it a little bit longer on medium. You want to make sure that you do not overmix a bakery item, especially cakes. You've got your baking powder in there, and that's going to make it rise. But if you do it too long, you're actually going to sort of kill that chemical reaction, and your cake may end up being very flat. And we'll go a little higher, and that looks about right. All right, so our batter is done, and we're going to get this into our prepared baking pan. And remember, we've got that nice layer of vegetable shortening and flour to ensure that the cake does not stick in the pan when it's time to release it. Make sure you have excellent tools in your kitchen. I cannot live without my top quality spatulas and tools. I'm only putting in half because we're going to make 2 layers out of this. To make sure that you don't have a lot of air bubbles in your cake and having it end up looking like Swiss cheese, give it a tap on the counter. And you'll see that the air will rise up and the bubbles will pop. So we've put our cake together and we've let our golden yellow vanilla cake bake at 350 degrees for 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes when you do the 2 layers, and a little bit longer if you're going to be doing it in one pan in a 9x13. So we've got these in the pan, and as you can see, they've lifted away from the edge, and we're going to be taking them out of the pan. Because we've prepped them well with our Crisco and our flour, they're lifting nice and easy right out of here. And next, you're going to see that this is going to pop out nice and easy. I do want to show you about leveling your cakes. When you bake the layers, you notice how they sort of mound up on one side. You want to make sure that your oven is level, but sometimes it just happens. What you want to use for this step is a serrated knife. One that has the little ridges here. This is always what you're going to use for cakes and bread. All right, so with our bread knife, just a very slight little indentation. You want to kind of eyeball it at eye level. This side is a little bit higher, so I want to remove some of that, and ever so slightly using your best judgment on keeping it even. Take off that little bit that's too high. Always going down to eye level to make sure that the edges all the way around are approximately the same height. This will give you a nice, neat, professional looking cake. I chose to make a layered cake for this one, so you're going to put your buttercream in between and stack them. When you put this top piece on, it is going to go flat side up, just so you remember that, and then your icing won't be sticking. And that's how we make a golden vanilla cake. You know, you don't need to make it out of a box. Make it from scratch yourself. You're going to impress your friends and yourself. Who could resist a cake like this? I'm Liz Corbett, the Party Hostess Diva, www.partyhostessdiva.com, and I am making your life a little sweeter.